and welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you some easy ways to distress just regular raw wood that you get at the lumber store. These are all easy techniques. I got 9 of them to share with you, and then I'm also going to show you what they look like stained, and I'm going to do them in a light stain and a dark stain so you can kind of see the difference between the two. So if that's something you're interested in, I hope you stick around. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Okay, for this first one, I'm just going to use a cedar post. These cost about $2.08 at either Lowe's or Home Depot, and you get a 6-foot length, so you can do a lot of projects with this one piece. And then I'm going to use the Valspar Weathered Wood Accelerator to age it. Now, this is just a liquid. It comes out just like water, and it's got a purple tone to it. And I'm just going to apply it with a towel or a rag. And just really get your wood saturated good, and then you're just going to set it aside, and you'll see how it starts to age pretty quickly. And if you don't like the way it turned out the first time, you want it a little bit more weathered look, you can go back and add a second coat to it and even a third coat to it. But let it set with a lot of the liquid on it. Go ahead and puddle it up and let it sit, and then just go ahead and set it aside. Now I'm using just a regular cedar post. You can buy the ones that have a red hue to them, and I'll show you here the difference in the way it weathered here in just a second. Okay, this is the one I just did. This weathered this in about 30 minutes. It does look pretty old, almost look like a palette, because that's what it looked like before. Just regular kind of a pine color, and then that's what it looks like after. Now, I did a wall at my shop with the cedar one that was a red hue, and this is what it looks like if you do it with the red one. This next one, I'm just using a piece of scrap wood. I'm going to use dark walnut stain, and then I'm also going to use a special walnut stain. And these are both Minwax brand. And I'm just going to go ahead and apply half on one side and half on the opposite side. That way, when I do this next method, you can see what the difference is between the two colors. And I'm just applying with this with the rag. It really works good to keep from having brush strokes, and it goes on really smooth. And then you want to let this dry real well before you go to the next step. Next, I'm going to mix up some chalk paint with some water. And you can use any kind of paint that you want to, but you want to go ahead and get it liquid. And then I'm just going to apply this with a rag right over the top of it, just to kind of give it a whitewash look. And if you get too much white on there, you can always just spritz it with some water and you can get most of it back off of there. But just try to get it as even as you can. But you can see it is giving that a nice weathered look. And then this is how it turns out. It really did weather this quick. Let me know which side you like better, if you like the dark walnut side or the special walnut side. For this next one, I'm going to use a wire wheel, and you could use what size. I only had a small one, and it just attaches to your drill. And then you go ahead and clamp your wood. You're going to want to clamp your wood on this one because it won't work if you don't. And I'm just turning my wheel sideways. I'm going to go along the grain of the wood. And if you want it deeper, just hold it in place for a little bit and it'll go deeper into it. I'm just kind of scuffing it up a little bit, and then I am going to gouge it a little bit in some sections. And then I'm going to stain it and kind of show you what it looks like. But this was an easy one to really distress your wood quick. And then just kind of wipe it down a little bit. And then this is how it looks. This really did do some distressing pretty quickly. You got the grooves in there real well. And then I'll show you how this stains. This stained up real well. And I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to use the special walnut on one side and then the dark walnut on the other. And then kind of get down into those grooves, and they do get darker. Okay, and this is how this one turned out. You can see how the dark, where you had the bigger grooves, where the dark stain went in there, it just darkened it up real well. I really like this one. This next one, I'm going to use a hammer and I'm going to hit it several different ways from the front to the back, and I'm going to come at an angle on the side. Just kind of beat it up however much you want. This is going to be a real distressed piece of wood. So if you're wanting something that's real distressed with deep grooves in it, a hammer is really a good way to go. And if you go this way and then you kind of go at an angle too, and then you can get like little grooves on the side. And just kind of beat it up however much you want. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and stain both halves again, show you here real quick. Now you want to take some time on this one and really get down into those grooves because they are pretty deep. So go ahead and put quite a bit of stain on here and then wipe off the excess afterwards. Okay, and that's how that one turned out. That one turned out pretty good. If you want to do something that's really distressed, this is definitely a good one to do. Okay, for this one, I'm just going to take a sock. Now, you want to use a sock that's tightly woven. You don't want one that has holes in it or anything like that. And you want to wear protective eye gear. That's a must on this one. And I just have some little roofing nails that I'm going to use in this. You can use nails, you can use screws, but you do want to fill your sock on up. Now, my sock was a little bit thin. I would recommend going to Dollar Tree and getting a pair of their socks and doubling them up. But go ahead and get this pretty full and go ahead and tie it off. And then you're just going to sit and beat this piece of wood with this. And just get it however distressed you want. And the nails will start coming through and they'll beat the wood good. So this is a great way to distress a piece of wood. And then to stain it, I'm just going to stain it again with the special walnut and the dark walnut so you can see the difference between the two finishes. And this is how this ended up looking. I really like the way that this one turned out. Let me know in the comments which one's your favorite today. For this next one, I'm just going to use some wood carving tools. I'm going to use one that has like a curve and one that has like a V in the center of it. And that one just curves upward. And I'm just going to go ahead and just start carving them. Now these carve pretty good. You can get carving tools just about anywhere. Amazon has them. They have them at Lowe's and Home Depot. And you just kind of run it through the wood. Now the one with the V, it kind of just made like little straight lines. But the one that has the curve, that's the one that actually did cut into the wood good and gave it a lot more depth. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and stain it the same two stains with the special walnut and the dark walnut. And then I'll show you what the finished look looks like. And you do want to get way into the groove, so you want to kind of puddle it in there and then wipe off the excess. This is how this one turned out. I think if I did a project with this, I would not use the one that had the V shape in it, just the one that had the curve, and I do a lot more of them, a lot deeper, kind of like they do wood floors. For this next technique, I'm going to use just a big chain that I have, and I'm just going to beat the wood with it, and I'll show you how it looks. And if you're doing it on concrete, you probably want to put something underneath it so that you don't knock a chip in your concrete. But just keep beating it as hard as you want to till you get the grooves as deep as you want or as shallow as you want. Again, I'm going to stain it with both the special walnut and the dark walnut. And I'll show you how it looks here in just a second. Okay, and then this is how that one turned out. I think that turned out really nice. Depending on what project you're using, it just depends on what kind of effect that you're wanting. Next one, I'm just going to use a propane tank and I'm going to burn the wood. Now all you got to do is just turn it on, push the button, and then it'll start burning. And kind of just move it around a little bit because you don't want to concentrate too much in one place. You want to kind of maybe evenly get it done. And you can get it as dark or as light as you want to. And then I'll show you what it looks like once it's stained. Again, staining it with the same two color stains. And then this is how this looks. If you don't want gouges in your wood, you just want kind of an even finish, this is a great way to distress wood. These are all a great way to weather your wood. They don't require a lot of tools. You can combine them together too. You could do whitewash. You could burn it as well. You could gouge it and burn it, or you could use several of the different tools together to make a different effect. These would all be great for farmhouse and rustic decor. If you like these kind of videos, be sure and give me a like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified when I have a new video upload. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if nobody's told you today, you're awesome.